Hello, it is Monday, January 7th, and thanks for joining us here on the 2Close2Call podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Miho. We appreciate you guys tuning in today for our fourth episode, where we have a great show lined up for you. We talk about all four wildcard football games in detail, including some things that we liked and didn't like about the Bears-Eagles, some refs calls in the Chargers-Ravens game, as well as our hatred for the Cowboys as they continue to move on, and whether or not we think the Colts will have a chance at all next week at the Chiefs. So come on in for the next half hour. Lend us your ears. We really appreciate you guys listening, and thanks again.
Coach, you were 5-79 last year. Why the playoff talk?
Well, we made a couple of key trades, and we got the funk.
Oh, well, glory be, the funk's on me, Bobby.
Keep that funk alive. Keep that funk alive.
Well, it's 1975, and we'll just be keeping the funk alive.
Do that funk.
Just do that funk. So what that?
Do that funk. Just do that funk.
What's going on out there? It is Monday, January 7th. I am Miho, one of your hosts of the 2Close2Call podcast. I'm here with my boy Pags. Pags, what's going on, man? How was the weekend?
Great weekend. Birds win, but I unfortunately caught only the end of the second quarter into the whole second half.
So you missed the beginning.
Well, you know what happened was 3 weeks ago, Birds are down and out. We're going into L.A. My assigner comes out and is like, hey, here's our reffing schedule for the coming year. Anybody have any problems with any of the games? Me thinking, oh, yeah, just trying to make some extra money. Birds aren't going to be in the playoffs. All of a sudden, Nick Foles comes in, goes on a little run himself. Birds play at 4:40 on Sunday, the 6th, and I look at my schedule, and there you go. Games at 4 and 5 o'clock. And I'm just like, are you kidding me?
So was it one of those, obviously you're taping the game, right? So did you want to know the score, or was it one of those where don't anybody fucking tell me anything? What were your thoughts?
My wife had told me, she's like, I'll text you the scores. I said to her, listen, all I need from you, because I know I'm coming back probably second half. I go to her, I go, all I need to know from you is who's getting ball at half. And she's like, I got it. I go, okay. So whoever wins the coin toss and gets the ball first, she's like, I know how football works. I was like, okay, I go, I'm just trying to make sure you know. And she was like, I can do that. And I'm like, all right, you're the best. Love you. So anyway, I'm at the game. First game ends right around 4:40. So we're ahead of schedule. And I'm like, all I'm thinking in my head is if the game is tied or the Birds are winning, I'm good. I don't want to flip my phone on and see 21-0 Bears, and then I'm just pissed off for the whole second game. Lo and behold, the coaches that come up to my game come up to me, and they're like, hey, let's get this thing going. And I look, and they both have Eagles shirts on. They're like, yeah, whoever scheduled this game during this time period is an idiot. And I'm like, I know. I go, so we're under the same agreement that any timeouts taken is an automatic forfeit. And
not even 30-second timeouts. You're getting nothing.
And luckily, this is rec basketball, so you got 20-minute running halves.
Oh, here, I thought you were talking varsity, Pags.
No, I'm not doing that stuff. So that's another reason why everybody's just trying to get out of there. The kids are getting out. The kids want to watch the game. Some kids have Eagles jerseys on the sidelines when they come off to the bench. So anyway, I go to the coach. I go, all right, we're going to get this thing started. And they're like, yep. And then the rules are you have to stop and clock inside 2 minutes of each half. I look at my partner, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm swallowing this whistle. Anytime, it could have gotten hammered. And I'm doing it. So finally, at the end of the first half of the second game, where it's about 5:20, kid comes up, trips a player. And I'm like, oh, God. All right, call flagrant. Flagrant foul comes up. Kids going to shoot the free throws. They're trying to pick who's doing it. I'm like, no, the guy that got fouled is taking the free throws. And they're like, no, we get to pick. And I'm like, coach, don't you want to get out of here? And he's like, yeah, you're right. Come on, shoot those free throws as fast as you can. To your point of whether I wanted to know the score or not, and all of a sudden I hear the coach going, 3-0 Birds. And I couldn't hear what he said. And I'm like, you want a timeout? He goes, hell no. 3-0 Eagles. I was like, I just give him a thumbs up. Then I'm coming down the court 5 minutes later. Oh, falls through an interception in the end zone. I'm like, damn it. and then I get 3-3 Bears. And there's like a minute left. And I'm like, all right, guys, let's go. Run this clock. Let's go. The scorekeeper, he doesn't care. He's like, my partner is trying to stay by the rules. He's like, are they at 7 fouls? And the scorekeeper's like, no, I think they're at 5. There were at least 15 fouls on this team. And we weren't shooting one-on-ones or double bonus because they just wanted to get the hell out of there.
Oh, I love it.
Thank goodness I have to do something for work next weekend in the morning, so I didn't take any games. So luckily, I'll be watching the entire divisional round.
There you go.
But I don't know if I will want to or not because I watched the whole first time they played, and it didn't go so great.
So, absolutely, though. Transitioning off of that, obviously the NFL wildcard weekend dominates the news today and early this week. But looking back, depending on whether I took the Seahawks early in the week at 3 or late in the week at 1, your boy was 4 for 4 last week on his picks. Just saying.
You were. Impressive.
Give me the points, and I'm still going Clemson tonight, but that's neither here nor there. But starting off with the Colts Texans taking the 1 point, that was an ass kick until late.
Yeah, another reffing basketball. I had to call you. Remember that? I called you on Saturday. I go, what the hell happened? And I think you were sleeping. You were like, yeah, I woke up and it was 14-0, and I roll and it's 21-0. And I'm like, well, that escalated quickly.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. Marlon Mack breaking franchise records, running the ball against Houston, who didn't give up the run all year. He had 148 franchise record in a playoff game. I'm like, Marlon fucking Mack? Who the hell are you?
Yeah, he was one of the more inconsistent players in fantasy football this year. He drove me nuts. Week in, week out, this dude would either put up 20-some points on my bench or 3 points when I started him. He drove me nuts. Drove me nuts this year. He looked like a stud out there.
It's crazy.
And the Colts team, they really seem to be clicking. And you could say the Texans, it's got to be heartbreaking going through the years. Like that is the Texans game every year. They're always playing in that early Saturday wild card game. And it seems like they either win with Brock Osweiler, whoever, TJ Yates,
yeah, the backup.
Or they get blown out. It's crazy.
Andrew Luck rounding into form again, obviously, with him throwing to T.Y. Hilton. They had a couple nice connections. Oh, man, it's just the Texans. I don't know what to tell you. You were what? What were they, 10-3 coming into Philadelphia? Or 11-3 trying to get the 2 seed? And now they're the 4 seed and out of the playoffs and 3 weeks later.
Started 0-3. And it seems like that was more of the norm, and they just got hot. And then at the end of the year, they tailed off again. I mean, the Colts almost won that division. If the Texans would have lost that game at the end of the year, the Colts might have won the division.
Yeah, and even, I believe, earlier in the year, the highlights of the Colts, that's when they went for the touchdown instead of kicking the field goal to, like, tie or something like that. And
Amazing.
Houston went down and scored and won that game. So if that would have flipped the other way, it's like... Yeah, so I don't know. Frank Wright, man, Philly special out there in Indianapolis. He's got him rolling.
Hey, and I got to tell you, I love that Quentin Nelson for the Colts. That dude is a monster. The kid out of Notre Dame, the 6th pick of the draft. Oh, he's awesome.
Yeah, and the linebacker, the rookie Leonard, who's fucking rookie of the year or defensive rookie of the year, whatever it's gonna be. I don't know. They're gonna be tough. Got the Chiefs next week in Arrowhead.
Let me ask you this. Do you think these guys are drafting a kid out? I mean, I played UNAA football. Do you think these guys drafting him out of South Carolina State, what did you think they really were going to get this year out of him? He's just a beast.
Yeah,
so NFL in tackles.
I listened to his story a little bit on the Pat McAfee show. He actually interviewed him the one time, and he said he would have gone to Clemson, but he didn't have the grades or something like that and couldn't get in, and that's why he went to the local state school, and the local state school played Clemson, and then he got on the map because he had like 18 tackles or something like that against Clemson and was like the only kid making plays. And from then on, it's just like he's always had the combine numbers. He just didn't have the grades because both of his brothers are in jail. You know, he still writes to them, talks to them. His mom had 3 jobs, one of those kind of backstories. So it just... He didn't have the exposure and / the grades coming out of high school to play for any of these schools, and that shit really doesn't matter anymore when you're a grown man. So the Colts they got a hell of a pick on that one.
Yeah, that's a value pick right there. That's gonna pay dividends for them year in and year out.
So, but yeah, later in the week on Friday's pod, we'll obviously get into a preview of the Colts-Chiefs game. But first initial impressions, what are your thoughts there?
A lot of points. If the Colts defense can cause turnovers like they've been, I see no reason why the Colts can't win that game. Chiefs defense is susceptible to points, and it looks like the Colts can score, so it's definitely going to be an interesting game.
I say I'm all for another game like the one they played last time in the playoffs. Give me that one.
Oh, amen.
And in the nightcap on Saturday, our beloved friends from down south.
Oh God.
Dallas Cowboys. Moving on.
Yeah, their defense is really good. Those linebackers are studs. But it just seems like the Seahawks' game plan was just, we're going to run the ball, and it was not working. And it just blew my mind what they were doing.
Well, Russell Wilson this year had the least amount of pass attempts in the entire NFL.
Really?
Really. Like, they don't throw the ball.
Did you see that pass he made to Doug Baldwin on the sidelines? That was unbelievable.
Oh,
on that fourth down.
Right, dude? There were so many turns in this game, too. Like, Tavon Austin takes that punt return to the crib only for it to be called back, like, immediately. You know what I mean? And then he takes another one back later for 50, 60 yards. Like, and then Janikowski hurts himself. Like, Seattle special teams, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
The worst special teams play of the day. I know that really grinded your gears.
I got a little bit of hope when they scored. They get the 2-point conversion, which whoever's gambling on this game, they must have been losing their shit during that. Going from if they had Cowboys 2.5, that would have been, I would have been so pissed. But yeah, I mean, something needs to change about this onside kick rule because there's no chance. If you're down by 2 scores with less than, say, 2 minutes and you don't have 3 timeouts, that game's over. What do you think about the onside kick rule now? I get the safety aspect of it.
What'd they change? I'm trying to look it up here. No, here we go. 2 changes. No running start from the kickoff team. No wedge blocks. Well, that's normal kickoffs. I'm talking onside kick.
There's no 5-yard run. You can't get a head start. You literally have to stand there. So even if the ball does jostle out of the first guy, they have time to pick it up again because you need that running start. I mean, if you're breaking the line as the ball's being kicked, there's a chance you're going to be there before the ball gets to 10 yards. At this point, there's no running start. It's almost impossible. I think what has it been like 4 recoveries this entire year? I mean, I get the whole safety thing. I really do. And that I've been on hands teams before, believe it or not, and it is nerve-wracking. You're going to get hammered. There needs to be something, whether they change that rule only for onside kicks or whatever. They're trying to take the kickoff out of the game, but what do you think about like a 4th and 20 and you complete it, then you keep going?
That's fucking out there.
It's gimmicky.
It's totally gimmicky. Out there, but I mean, I don't know. I just maybe let them run for the onside kick. I don't fucking know, Pags. That's tough, man, because you're right. They do want to eliminate the kickoff, but then how do you get the ball back? Like, there's always been that chance, so you have to give them something.
Or you make it 5 yards.
Exactly, or 7 or something, right? Like, it's just there's not many, and it's pretty much out. But how about the injury to Allen Hurns, man? His foot was fucking sideways. That was so gross.
Those ones are the ones where you want to look. You want to look away, but you can't stop staring at it.
Oh, Fox showed there like, yeah, we're not going to show that again. I was like, good, because I changed the fucking channel.
The Gordon Hayward one, like all those ones, I have to look at them. It's crazy. It's disgusting, but I have to look at it. Cowboys win. Kudos to them. They have to go to L.A., so we'll see. People have been trashing the NFC East, but hey, look who's got 2 teams in the divisional round.
2 out of the 4 left.
I've lost a little of my Cowboy hatred when we won the Super Bowl because that was a lot of my hatred with the fact that they won. All they would say is, "You never won a Super Bowl, never won a Super Bowl." Now I'm like, all right, we've dominated you guys for the past how many years? Yeah, you swept us this year, but it is what it is.
So yeah, I don't know, that Rams-Dallas game. I think that's going to be an entertaining football game next week.
I hate to say it, but I think Dallas is going to win. But we'll get into that next podcast.
Yeah, Sunday morning, Chargers-Ravens. Again, taking the lightning bolts, man. They make me look like a genius.
You had to know that Ravens defense, Ravens offensive plays would eventually be It just seemed like somebody was going to figure that out. And if you're a team playing them for a second time within, 3 weeks, you think you'd figure it out. These defensive coordinators aren't idiots.
Well, to your point, here's a report I'm reading. Chargers knew 60 to 70% of Ravens' offensive plays before they happened.
There you go.
That's the buzz around Baltimore.
And, dude, I'm surprised that number isn't even higher, because if you don't change – one thing I learned when I started coaching football, even at the collegiate level, is, the amount of stuff these teams are going to run, you have to change week in and week out. You have to be different. It's crazy, and that's why you spend so many freaking hours in the coaching room just trying to figure out, okay, how can we be different? And it seems like the Ravens were just yeah, we're going to do the same thing. It's going to work. Chargers can't play hard-nosed. But
it was a hell of a comeback.
It was, and there's no doubt, but you can only go so far with a team that barely throws the ball. How about the reffing miscues in this game, the replay miscues?
Oh,
Unreal.
Dude. Driving for the goal line, the old fumble, you're down, touchdown, return touchdown. Jesus Christ.
Do those things drive you nuts as much as they drive me nuts? It's unbelievable.
I mean, again, because it wasn't the Eagles, but as a fan, right? Baltimore's going nuts, and then while he's down, you didn't score, the other team scored, so you guys should be pissed, but you just celebrated. It was what the fuck is going on?
It kind of kills the game for a little while, and it happened in the Eagles game. We'll get into that, but it's just can these refs just use common sense sometimes? But yeah, I mean, the Chargers haven't lost a game outside of LA this year. They're going to Foxborough now. Hey, man, Phil Rivers really, he's got that chip on his shoulder. And New England's defense isn't the greatest in the world. So the Chargers are going to be able to put up points on them. It's just, I just don't see how the Chargers can't win this game.
You're taking the Chargers.
We'll get into it, but I'm leaning towards it on Monday.
Phillip Rivers, man, I got no problem rooting for Phillip Rivers. So Eli and Ben have a couple. Phillip's the only one in that class that doesn't have any. So I got no problem rooting for Big Phil. But Uncle Tom there, sitting at home on his couch, waiting for you to come to him. It's not a good recipe.
I never want to be that guy that says the Patriots aren't going to win, because then I look like an idiot.
I want them to lose so bad, though.
Yeah, I do. I mean, if they lose, is Brady done?
No, I don't think so. He'll probably keep playing another year or two regardless, but I certainly think it accelerates the time frame if they do.
How many years can this guy play?
Until he fucking doesn't throw 40 touchdowns and 10 picks or whatever the hell it is.
It's true.
I know he had a more so of a down year this year, but he still was above average. You know what I mean? What was he? 5th, 6th, 7th best quarterback, right? Still top in the game.
They're going to keep paying him the money. It's just, when is Belichick going to be okay, this isn't working for me anymore. I need to bring in another guy. When are they going to start drafting that guy? They already went with Garoppolo, and then they got rid of him.
So they did it once, right?
It's got to be coming soon, man. I can't see it. This guy's so old, and he's only got so many years. I just can't believe how great he is, and it really is Tom versus time. It's crazy how he just keeps beating time, and he's impressive, man. He really is. The amount of years he's put in it with one team, it's pretty crazy. But we could get to the one game that we fully were invested in. Bears Birds.
E-A-E-S, Eagles!
Love it.
Moving on, Manville. You fuck 24-10. Suck it.
24. I will say this. When it was 15-10 and they're going for the extra point, or the 2-point conversion, and then I'm 17-10, fuck, if Foles throws a pick, 24-10, Manville's right on.
Right.
That thought crossed my head.
But instead, your boy at 19-13 was pretty fucking close to 16-15.
Hey, 2017 was pretty close, too. If
Further
Eagles
off.
got that extra point, I was 2 points off on each side.
Yeah, how dare you talk me into Cody Parkey missing an extra point?
Oh, gosh.
But
you mean Jake Elliott. You got another old Eagles kicker on the mind.
Oh, yeah, because he's been in the news, I guess, so I've read his name a couple times.
Oh, I think everybody in the world knows it. Everybody who's watching football knows it.
What were you doing during the kick?
So Alyssa couldn't watch. She's freaking out. She's turned around facing me. James is staring at me. I'm just like locked eyes on the TV like I'm going to throw up. And I swear I almost passed out when he missed it because I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't believe it. How many times has this happened as an Eagles fan in the past 10 years where it comes down to something like this?
Dude, I thought I was watching a replay of the Saints playoff game from 5 years ago.
It really was.
Foles leads him down for the win. Fucking shitty kickoff. Returned out to like the 40 or whatever, so they only need 20 yards. Walk-off field goal. It's like, oh my God. Again, like, just kick the fucking ball in the end zone. What's with these returns?
Let me ask you this. When it was 4th and goal on the 2-yard line, were you as pissed as I was that Doug took a timeout?
Yes.
I was pissed.
Yes.
I was just like, what are you yelling about? And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I'm just like,
I
was
verbally
talking to her
said.
like it was one of my guy friends talking. I'm like, what do you mean? What do I mean? I'm like, what do you mean? If we don't score here, we can stop them and have them pump the ball.
That's what I said. After 3rd down, I verbally said out loud, like, okay, you better call a fucking play here so you can keep your timeouts and get the ball back if you don't get it. And then 20 seconds later, they're like, timeout. And I go, better fucking be the Bears. And he's like, taken by Doug Peterson. I was like, are you fucking kidding me, Doug?
And Al was right on it. Al was like, why? And Chris Collinsworth, being Chris Collinsworth, was like, I like this timeout call. And Al Michaels is like, why?
I like everything about everybody.
Kudos to my wife, though. She really does try to, as best as she can, keep me level-headed because my mind is just swimming during these games. I might be too invested. They drive me nuts. And I pick everything apart. And I always find myself, I'm always texting you saying crap. And this was the first week where I didn't text the group message saying I need a turnover where it didn't happen.
Yeah, asshole. You usually call those.
I did it the last 3-4 weeks, and this week didn't happen for us.
Yeah, we dropped all 3 of them.
Oh, man. Dude, what was the turnover ratio? 2-0?
-2. We didn't have one, dude. And I saw a stat on SportsCenter, like home teams +2 in turnovers are like 120-4 in games.
Unreal.
Like, we played actually kind of shitty, but really good at the same time. Like, I can't figure it out. You know what I mean? Like, we lost the turnover battle by 2. We dropped all these things. We had a after the play personal foul. We had a hands to the face. We gave them 6 points. And yet, we played a solid football game and won a playoff game on the road. Like, which is it?
Speaking of turnovers, the one that was left literally laying on the field that the ref decided to pick up, what was your analysis of that play? From the refs, first off, when they're going to this replay and seeing, okay, clearly a catch, this guy rips the ball out after 3 steps, that's a fumble.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
our fellow referee stands over it and picks it up because he's waving incomplete. Of course, you're going to wave incomplete, and it looked incomplete live.
So that's my train of thought is live. I said incomplete pass, hell of a play. Didn't even cross my mind that could have been a catch and fumble. Still not really sure how that's possible with one guy's hands / arm in between another guy's arm, and yet somehow he has full control over that football. Okay,
right.
Whatever. So incomplete pass, which the guy on the field rules immediately. Like, immediately. So as a defender, now I'm putting myself as an Eagles safety, I'm not running 15 yards out of the way to go pick up a ball that's at the ref's feet. My ass is getting ready for the next play. I'm fucking tired, okay? I'm not running over there. You called it incomplete immediately. Why would I ever in a million years run the fuck over there and pick that up? So then the refs are looking at it and they're going, well, it's a catch and a fumble. But on the replay, there's 4 Eagles within 15 yards and 1 Bear, the guy who was on the ground. So say 0 Bears. So if it was a live ball, and you were calling it a live ball, 100 out of 100 times the Eagles pick up that football.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Bears. So if it's a fumble, you have to give the ball to the Eagles. But they didn't pick it up, so you can't give it to the Eagles. But how can you give it to the Bears on the 7 when they were nowhere near the fucking ball? So you can't do that either. So I'm going, it's got to be incomplete. You got to do it over. And that's when the ref comes out and doesn't even fucking speak in coherent English and is just like, yeah, he caught it and it fumbled, but incomplete. And then Al Michaels is like, are they making shit up? And the fucking expert ref official,
Terry McCullough.
McCullough, is like, yes, it sounds like it.
But then he comes back out and like does a little more research, which if you were the expert, don't you think you would know that?
Fucking
rule?
half an hour later, oh, hey, I actually looked it up in the rule book. These guys got it right. Thank you, Terry. I'm really glad you ref Super Bowls in the past and know what the fuck's going on.
Unbelievable.
I can't stand any of it. It was the correct call. Whether it was the rule or not, it's what had to be called based on the situation that happened. I've never seen that. 30 years of football, I've never seen anything like that.
What I was going off of was back in 2010, that game against Dallas where Deshaun Jackson, 80-yard touchdown, first play, flips it behind him before he crosses the goal line, on the field, touchdown.
See, now that I understand because that was a catch and clearly his possession.
Right.
So he was running and dropped the ball. Now, had the Bears guy caught the ball and ran to the 2 and then dropped it, yes, it's the Bears ball there. But because live, there was no possession established, you can't just give him the ball there.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, that's where I was like, this is so absurd because to the Eagles, he never had possession. So why would I ever pick up the ball? Like, the quarterback threw an incomplete pass. I'm not going to run 20 yards out of bounds to go get the ball to the ref. It's the same fucking thing. It was unbelievable. So to their credit, they got it right, whether the fucking rules expert knew it or not.
Yeah.
But, oh, man, that one had me fired up because I was just, if they give him the ball in the 7 here, when if it was a fumble, the Eagles would have it, I would have been very, very angry.
So we leave 3 points on the field there. They get 3. They're up 6-3. We're going into halftime. And we talk, and we're like, yeah, they should be winning this game. And I'm saying this based off of what you were telling me because I didn't get to see the whole first freaking half. Driving me nuts. But going to the second half, 3 and out, Bears get it going a little bit. What was it? The Eagles end up getting a drive together, like 8 plays, 83 yards, 7 plays, 83 yards, we score. And in my head, I'm like, okay, scored a touchdown. I was thinking whoever scores this touchdown is going to be the winner of this game. Yeah, we turned out to be right, but it got a little hectic there in the middle there where your boy from Pitt was biting on every single pump fake Mitch Trubisky was throwing at him.
Yeah, because he almost got that one, so he figured, let me go for them all.
Thinks he's Asante Samuel.
Right, he almost made the play of the fucking weekend.
What do you think about Mitch Trubisky? What are your takes on him? Think he's a good quarterback?
I think he's an NFL quarterback for sure. I mean, he could have thrown a couple picks, but he didn't. That last pass before the field goal was a money pass. Like, he runs the ball okay. It's tough to kind of place these guys in, elite or whatever that status is. But for the Bears, like Tony said, he's perfect for the Bears. He's kind of like
Absolutely.
Kirk Cousins. Like, don't lose the game, don't throw picks.
I mean, he did everything you really needed from him, except for that god-awful drive they had when they got the ball back up 15-10, where they lose 4 yards, sack, little dump off the Tariq Cohen tackle, punting it, and the punter shanks it, which I'm telling you, I want a short field and a turnover. The punter's like, here, you get the ball for 45. I'll punt it. I'll shank this one for you guys.
Right.
And then Nick just that was a hell of a catch by Ertz around over the middle. That one throw that he had to Zach. Woof.
Yeah, Foles on 3rd and 4th down again, man. Just like 7 of 8, 100+ yards, 100+ rating. Like, he's unbelievable.
Goddard is money with the yak.
Yeah, breaking that tackle, getting that first down, that was a huge play.
I mean, we had that with in the Dallas game where he broke it for a touchdown. That's what I was thinking in my head when he was running. I was like, oh, is he about to go? So then we get down, 3rd and goal, pass to Jeffrey, incomplete. What's going through your head? We took a timeout. I didn't think we were going to roll out with Nick, that's for sure.
I heard pregame that on 3rd and 4th downs, the Bears like to bring a lot of pressure. So in that scenario, obviously when you bring pressure, you tend to move the pocket. Mm-hmm. And then a 2-point conversion, that's another type. You move the pocket. Now, some people don't like it because it cuts the field in half, but it simplifies your reads for the quarterback. It essentially just says, hey, fucking move to your right, read these 2 people, find who's ever open. And Golden Tate ran a hell of a route, got to the top, a little push off, whip his head around. Nick Foles literally makes a throw around an unblocked, who is it, Leonard Floyd, I think, coming off the edge, unblocked.
Sidearm.
Literally sidearm around and puts it on the money. So I don't know. First and second down, I was okay with the runs, make them use their timeouts. And then I said third and fourth down. Okay, now you have 2 plays to try to score a touchdown. If you can't go 1 for 2, which and essentially is a 2-point conversion, you don't deserve to win the football game anyway. So when they did that, I went fucking bonkers, though. I was screaming that the trade for Golden Tate was justified and now we're good.
Yep.
And until the kickoff came, and then I was back and fucking laying on the ground.
Well, before the kickoff, the whole 2-point conversion, freaking Wendell Smallwood's trying to do his best Saquon Barkley impression.
Yeah, the fake Philly special.
I understand why the refs said no if they didn't get in. But if that Bears guy isn't standing there right where the shot is on the line, it clearly passed the white line.
Yeah, by like an inch, right? Like, I forget I was telling the Bridge or somebody after the game, I was like, yeah, so that 1 inch that we were short from Wendell Smallwood, we got back on the goalpost from the field goal at the end. So he missed it by an inch, and Parkey missed it by an inch.
and I got to tell you, thank goodness they won that game, because for the next year, all we would be hearing is zoomed in shots of that thing being like, that was in. Living like that for 6 months, brutal.
Eagles moving on. The Nick Foles magic lives on. We're going back to New Orleans where we got our asses kicked. We're hoping to have a guest on this week for Friday who's got some New Orleans Saints ties. Like last week, we had a Bears ties on. So we're hoping to have that for you guys Friday. And we'll get obviously a lot more into our preview for that game later this week. But again, Pags, first reaction and, initial thoughts. The line's at 8.5, 9. Is that too high, too low? What do you got?
I think that's pretty accurate considering what we saw last time. NFL is a week-by-week thing. Did the Saints peak at that point? Maybe. Were we at our lowest at that point? Definitely. I'm just going to preface it by saying this. It's going to be really tough to win in New Orleans in the playoffs with Drew Brees, with Alvin Kamara, with Mark Ingram, with Michael Thomas.
We were fortunate enough to escape Drew Brees last year, but run into him here this year, so we'll see.
Yeah, you kind of figured that if you want to win this year, you're going to have to go through New Orleans or L.A., and it looks like we may have to go through both of them.
But anyway, that's our show for the week. We appreciate you guys listening in. I know we got into deep thoughts there on some NFL games from the past weekend, but Pags, one thing we forgot to do at the beginning of the show actually is with this being our 4th episode, our favorite number 4s of all time. Who do you got this time?
4 is not as popular of a number as I thought. I was
Dude,
like,
no fucking 4s ever.
I'm looking at number 4s and I'm like, yeah, Brett Favre. I'm like, I'm not the biggest Brett Favre guy. I found one, Philly tie. The old 93 Phillies were an exciting team. The old MVP that year, Lenny Dykstra, hell of a player. Not one hell of a human being. The dude's absolutely nuts. Nails, they call him. I know my dad loved him. My dad loved when he played, and he's kind of gone down a different path as of late. But as a Philly, he was a stud. That's who I'm going with.
So I'm like you, man. I really don't have a favorite. Obviously, Chris Webber was number 4. Fab 5, Michigan guy, Michigan ties, although he did call a timeout that we didn't have. So he's not.
Yeah, and he also refused to talk on the Fab 5 story they had about him. He refused to talk because he's a little wimp and still complains about that.
Well, that's the thing. Michigan has, disowned him since he's left. So he's like, fuck them because they're like, fuck you. But he played for the Sixers, so it's good number 4. But I guess more recently, my favorite number 4, Mr. Jake Elliott, the field goal kicker who makes field goals. He kicked a couple of big ones in the Super Bowl, has the long one against the Giants, the one against the Texans this year. So kind of to your point, man, I can't pick Kevin Cobb, so I guess I'll go with Jake Elliott.
My man, I just thought of another one, and this is crazy, and the only reason I know this is number 4 is because you brought up the Chris Webber thing with the Sixers. I have a number 4 Andre Iguodala jersey because that was his number before Chris Webber got traded to the Sixers, and he went to 9. He was number 4. I have an Andre Iguodala Sixers jersey with the number 4. Finals MVP with the Warriors.
Not
Used to be number 4.
That's awesome.
There's another pool for you.
Fantastic. But yeah, that's our show for this Monday. Quick little episode wrapping up the weekend. But, Pags, why don't you hit him with some exciting news we'll hopefully have for him by this Friday in regards to some of our social media, and then, remind them how to get their info.
Yeah, guys. So we appreciate you guys, all you who have reached out and gave us the comments, gave us some things to work on. We know it's a hassle on the YouTube channel. So as of this week, we are going to hopefully by the end of the week be on iTunes, be on Spotify, be on all your favorite podcasting streaming apps. So look for that. We will obviously post it on our social media accounts once that is up and running. But for now, continue to reach out to us through YouTube at our YouTube channel, 2Close2Call podcast, and hit us up on Twitter and Instagram at 2Close2Call with the number 2. We appreciate all of you, and we do it for you guys. We don't just do it to sit here and talk because we do this anyway. But we do this for you guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed it today. And Kev, have yourself a Monday.
That's it, brother. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you soon.
Later, guys.
Peace.